Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm a Ukrainian, and I have decided I will vlog daily from my country Ukraine since the start of this awful war with Russia. And in my daily videos I try to update you on the important real-life situations in my country Ukraine, and of course I'm always glad to answer your questions and to clarify some facts from our history, our culture, our background, or whatever interests you. Recently, we have launched a project Soviet Myths Debunked, where I speak about various Soviet myths that still exist in Russian and some post-Soviet countries, and to some extent fuel Russian military machine. And today there is a proof for that because Putin starts the continuation of the Cold War again when he threatens the United States. He says that United States are really close to becoming a member of the conflict in Ukraine because of the great military and spiritual support that American people and American government demonstrate to Ukrainians. And definitely this resembles the times of Cold War very, very closely. But at the same time, with a very huge difference. Since then, the majority of the Western world, not only the United States, even Ukraine has grown seriously in technology, in communication, in different attitudes. Why? Because we don't keep close borders, and any kind of exchange, openness to diversity and understanding is so very much important. And in Russia, they like to lock the doors and to imitate. That's what they do when they describe themselves as really strong. So one thing that they will do, definitely according to the rules of the old Cold War, they will fight with the Cold War weapons. Because the missiles that often hit wrong targets here in Ukraine are the missiles that were produced in the 60s, in the 70s. Honestly, sometimes I feel terrified when I realize how old all of these things are. Of course, they cause serious devastation to Ukrainian infrastructure, killing people, but at the same time they also prove that Russia is not a super state but just uses the military machine of the Soviet Union. So for those in the United States who feel nervous about such things, I doubt there are many people like that in the US, but still, if there are some, you have to understand that Russia is still somewhere on the level of the USSR in 70s. I hope your country is different, and actually I'm sure it is. Of course, he also likes talking about the nuclear weapons and nuclear bombs, but once again they can not be working properly because Russian army is very corrupt and they rarely check everything. Plus, it's not only the Putin who has to press the button, and maybe people around him are wiser and realize that as soon as they press this button, many other buttons will be pressed and Kremlin, together with all their criminal gang, will disappear. So personally, it seems to me that even Putin cares very much about his health, his safety, so he is not the one to start a nuclear war because he realizes this will definitely be the end of his regime. And he still continues negotiating with many states and many countries like China and Syria and let's say even North Korea. So it's a weird country, but still many of these countries demonstrate support to Putin, and I think he believes he can save his face and maybe somehow by manipulation, blackmail, cold winter and cheap Russian gas escape the prosecutions and continue being present as a politician on the global arena. Of course, it is impossible after all the crimes against humanity that he has committed in Ukraine, but at the same time, he's still in his head, I think, is not ready to press the nuclear button. Only when he will realize it's a total end to everything that he does, he may try. But once again, I doubt that people around him will let that happen because all of them want to survive. Another argument that Russian government started using actively is gas, and as far as I have read, they have explained that there are problems with the Nord Stream. That's why they have to stop transition of gas to Europe, and it's all very predictable. That is one of the first steps that he will use to blackmail the global society and to try to persuade people to stop supporting Ukraine. But it is just the same as with the Hitler. We cannot follow his desires because the more compromises he will see, the worse it will be for the rest of the world. You cannot stop a bully by accepting his terms, accepting his rules, because he only gets hungrier, bullier, if there is a word such like that. And of course, he will start using other ways to blackmail and manipulate people, and that is really bad and dangerous. In Ukraine, we are getting ready for cold winter. Maybe there will be some problems in the EU too, but at the same time, we have to get out of this dependence of Russia, because you cannot close your eyes on the deaths of millions just because Putin wants so and he has gas. It's not his gas, it's the natural resources of Russia, and after he's dead, a new president comes, and maybe even the prices for gas will become cheaper. So another thing to think about is that when Russia started building Nord Stream 2, and many countries doubted and wanted to support this project, and Ukraine begged not to support this project, it was a problem actually, because many still believed Putin can be normal and economy is more important, and as a result the finish of the Nord Stream 2 was a symbol and a start, an actual start for the full-scale war. Ukrainians often spoke about that, Ukrainian politicians, Ukrainian people, we were very much afraid because we realized that our infrastructure is under danger. And that's what actually happened. So if I have the message today with all these threats and manipulations that Putin and Putin's regime use to influence the world, I have to say, don't be afraid. Be brave as Ukraine and our allies. There are many brave countries that demonstrate their support despite all the fact that Putin uses. And that is very, very, very important for us and for the world, because you cannot accept the evil, you cannot close eyes to the genocide that he does in Ukraine and he did in other countries like Chechnya, for example, and he has to be stopped. Otherwise, the world is in global danger. So tomorrow I'm waiting for all of you in my question and answer live session, and I will be really glad to answer anything you would like to know about my country, Ukraine, about my vlogging career, and I'm really happy to see my old-time subscribers, those who are with me from the very beginning of my vlog, and my new subscribers. And of course, also I can tell you a little bit more about our new project, Soviet Myths Debunked. Thank you for supporting me, buying me coffees, becoming my patrons. If you like my videos, do subscribe to the channel so more people can know about the real-life situation in my country, Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!